It started with a knock on the door, light hesitant, like a memory trying to come back. When Emma opened it, the air left her lungs. There he stood, Liam. Same stormy gray eyes, same crooked smirk that used to ruin her focus, same scent of pine and cologne that clung to her hoodie long after he stopped calling. She thought she'd moved on. She'd pretended well. Therapy, journals, long walks with no destination. But now he was here, suitcase in hand, and a lease agreement in her inbox that neither of them could afford to break. The city had chewed through her savings. Liam had just been transferred back. The only apartment under budget was the one they'd signed for when they were still in love. He looked at her like he was remembering too. Like the air between them wasn't just awkward, but haunted. I guess we're really doing this, he said, stepping inside. Emma didn't answer. She was busy locking away the scream in her chest. The days blurred, coffee and silence, passing in hallways, civil talks about bills, laundry, and nothing that mattered. But at night, Emma lay awake and watched the ceiling. She could hear Liam's soft breathing through the thin wall, steady and familiar. Her fingers itched to knock, to ask if he remembered the way she used to fall asleep tangled in his arms. But she didn't. Instead, she watched the shadow of his door and told herself she was strong. It didn't help that he looked better than he had any right to. His stubble was sharper, jawline crueler, voice deeper. Every girl at her office would have killed to be her. And all Emma could think about was how it felt to be ruined by him. She saw a glimpse of his phone once, an unknown number with a heart beside it. She smiled politely, went back to her room, and threw up in the sink. Then came the flashback. It hit her during a grocery run. She was reaching for strawberries when the air conditioner hummed a familiar note like the one in their old apartment. Suddenly, she was back there, barefoot, laughing as Liam kissed powdered sugar off her lips. They'd been baking that night, burned half the cookies, ended up on the floor. She blinked, and she was alone in all four, strawberries in hand, heart bleeding. He wasn't cruel. That was the worst part. He was kind, polite. He still remembered she liked her eggs soft-boiled, still left the kettle on for her tea, still wore the shirt she'd bought him for his birthday 2 years ago, the blue one that matched his eyes when he smiled. And she hated him for it, or maybe she hated herself for not hating him enough. One night, everything cracked. A storm hit the city, power out, flickering candlelight in the living room. Emma sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, when Liam walked in, holding 2 mugs of hot chocolate. No words, just the sound of thunder. And then his voice, low and ragged. Do you ever think about that night? The one before everything went to hell? She turned, trying to breathe, but it hurt. Every night, silence stretched. Then he laughed, bitter and broken. I thought I was the only one. Something shifted. Her walls, carefully built over months, trembled. He sat beside her, too close. The warmth of his body seeped through the blanket. She wanted to scream, run, cry, but she did none of it. Instead, she whispered, "Why did you leave me?" Liam flinched. His eyes locked on hers, and for a moment, the whole world disappeared. Because I thought you deserved better, and I was too much of a coward to try and be it. The mug slipped from her hands. Hot chocolate soaked the rug, but she didn't move. Couldn't. His confession echoed in her ears, like a prayer too late. She stood up, heart in her throat, turned her back to him and then walked straight to her room. The next morning she avoided him all day, but that night, his door was open, and her body betrayed her before her mind caught up. She stood in his doorway, clutching the frame. He looked up from his book, eyes wide. Emma, she stepped in. Later, she would tell herself it was closure, a moment of weakness, a mistake she wouldn't repeat. But as his arms wrapped around her, as their lips found each other like magnets never meant to be apart, Emma knew she was lying. The next morning, he was gone. His bed cold, a note on the pillow. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have touched you. It'll only hurt more. I'm moving out. I still love you, but I can't keep ruining your life. She stared at the note, shaking. The door creaked behind her. She turned, breath caught, but it wasn't Liam. It was a girl, holding a copy of the apartment keys, smiling like she already knew the layout of the place. Emma didn't speak. She couldn't. Her voice had abandoned her the moment the girl stepped over the threshold, like she belonged, like Liam hadn't just left Emma's bed less than 8 hours ago. The stranger's eyes wandered over the living room, casual and curious, then landed on Emma standing barefoot in Liam's shirt, pale and trembling. Something flickered in the girl's gaze, a pause, a realization, but she said nothing. Just smiled and held up a reusable coffee cup. I'm just dropping this off for Liam, she said. He left it at my place last night. Emma's skin froze over. Last night? She felt her knees lock, her stomach twisted. The girl didn't notice she was already walking past, heading for the kitchen like this was a normal thing. Like Liam had two worlds and moved freely between them. Emma opened her mouth to say something, anything. But the door opened again. Liam, soaked from the rain, stopped mid-step when he saw the scene. His eyes landed on Emma, then the girl, then the silence filled with everything and said, the girl turned. Hey, I brought your mug, figured you'd want it before work. Liam didn't move. Thanks, Holly. Holly. So that was her name. Emma stared at him, silently begging him to explain. To say it wasn't what it looked like. To tell her the girl was just someone from work, that the coffee meant nothing, that last night meant something. But Liam stayed quiet, his jaw tensed, his eyes dropped, and Holly noticed. I should go, she said slowly. See you later, Liam. Her gaze flicked once more to Emma, this time with less curiosity and more caution before she slipped out the door. The silence that followed was a wound. Liam took a step forward. Emma, don't. Her voice cracked, brittle as glass. Just don't. She turned and walked back to her room, the same one where just hours earlier, she had fallen asleep against his chest, believing maybe, just maybe, they still had something left to fight for. The following days were torture. Liam tried to talk. She refused. He hovered around the apartment like a ghost, trapped between guilt and longing. He cooked, cleaned, knocked, waited, but Emma remained silent. Until one night, when she finally snapped. I'm not your charity project, she hissed, slamming a plate into the sink. You don't get to crawl into my bed and disappear the next morning like it meant nothing. His voice was low, shaking. It didn't mean nothing. Then who the hell is Holly? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at her, like he was seeing her for the first time. She's safe, he finally said. You're not. She blinked, confused. What the hell does that mean? It means, he whispered, you still have the power to destroy me. Holly doesn't. The words hit like a slap. Her breath caught. She wanted to scream at him, shove him, demand why he thought that was okay, but something in his eyes stopped her. Something desperate, something broken. That night, she sat alone in the living room, knees to her chest, watching an old movie they used to love. It was their anniversary, or would have been. 3 years ago today, Liam had taken her to that hidden beach in San Diego, written I choose you in the sand, and kissed her like they had forever. She remembered the waves crashing, the way he pulled her close as the sun dipped. She had believed every word he said back then, and part of her still did. Suddenly, her phone buzzed. Liam, check the coat closet, please. Frowning, she stood, walked slowly over, and opened the door. There, taped to the back wall, was a photograph. The two of them on the beach. A note scribbled below. I thought distance would protect you from me, but the truth is, you've always been the one thing that could save me from myself. She stared at the message, tears filling her eyes. Then the front door opened. Liam walked in bleeding, his hand pressed to his side, crimson blooming through his shirt. I didn't know where else to go, he gasped. Emma screamed. Everything else disappeared. She caught him as he collapsed. Emma's hands trembled as she struggled to keep Liam conscious, her fingers slick with his blood. He was losing it fast, his color, his strength, his fight. Liam, what happened? Who did this? She cried, panic lacing every syllable. His lips parted, but the words that came out were to faint. She pressed a towel to his side, heart racing. Her phone clattered as she grabbed it, dialing emergency services with shaking fingers. Please, he's been stabbed. He's bleeding. Badly. Hurry. As sirens approached, Liam's eyelids fluttered. Emma, don't trust. His voice failed him. She leaned in close, trying to hear more, but his eyes rolled back, and he fell limp in her arms. The medics burst in seconds. Later, they barely acknowledged her as they worked, stabilizing him, calling out vitals, wheeling him away like he was already half gone. To the hospital. Emma sat in the hard plastic chair, cold and numb. Hours passed. Nurses came and went. No one told her anything. Her mind kept replaying the moment he walked through the door, hurt, scared, bleeding, and the photo in the closet. Why hide it? Why now? A doctor finally approached. He's alive, stable for now. He lost a lot of blood, but You said he didn't say what happened. Emma shook her head. He said not to trust someone, that's all. The doctor hesitated. He's in and out of consciousness. You can see him but keep it brief. Liam looked smaller in the hospital bed, pale, tubes and wires wrapped around him like cruel vines. Emma sat beside him, brushing damp hair from his forehead. His eyelids fluttered, then opened. Emma. His voice was raw. I'm here, she whispered. You're okay. You're safe. His eyes darted around. No, I'm not. It wasn't random. Someone knew. They were waiting for me. She frowned. Who would do this to you? Liam swallowed. It wasn't just a mug. Holly came back for something else. She was checking to see if I still had it. Emma's blood chilled. Still had what? He closed his eyes like the effort was too much. They think I kept a copy of the files from before I left. What files? But Liam had passed out again. Emma stepped out into the hallway, brain spinning. What the hell was going on? What was Liam involved in? The last few months of their relationship had been tense, sure, but he never said why. Just pulled away, broke up suddenly, moved out. Now he was bleeding out on a hospital bed, and Holly perfect smile. Coffee delivering Holly was somehow involved? Back at the apartment, Emma couldn't sit still. She tore through Liam's things. Nothing. Then she remembered the air vent. Under his desk, an old hiding spot he'd used back when they shared secrets and cookies at midnight. She unscrewed it, reached in. A flash drive. She stared at it like it was a bomb. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You've made a mistake. Put it back. Her chest tightened. She didn't reply. Instead, she plugged it into her laptop. Files popped up. Encrypted documents. Legal papers. Email records. Surveillance photos. A folder titled Project Autumn. She clicked it open. There were images of a building familiar. It was the headquarters of Liam's old employer, a government contractor. Data analytics. Security systems. Back when he used to say he was just doing boring stuff, but this wasn't boring. One document caught her eye. Internal memo. Subject flagged for extraction. Risk. High. Liability. Extreme. Target aware of protocol breach. Code black initiated. Emma's skin prickled. Liam was a target. They'd flagged him months ago. The breakup. The job transfer. Moving away. It wasn't random, it was extraction. They wanted him silenced. A noise outside. Footsteps. She closed the laptop and backed away just as the lock on the front door clicked open. She reached for something, anything, and grabbed the nearest object, a heavy candle holder. The door creaked. Opened slowly. But it wasn't Holly. It was a man in a black jacket, face hard, eyes scanning the apartment. Miss Carter, he said calmly. I'm here for something Liam took. You don't know what it is. Hand it over, and this ends peacefully. Emma didn't answer. He stepped further in. I don't want to hurt you. She raised the candle holder. Too late for that. He smiled coldly. Wrong answer. The lights flickered. Then the room went black, and Emma ran. She didn't look back. She couldn't. Her bare feet pounded the apartment hallway as the darkness swallowed her. The man's footsteps close behind. Somewhere between the adrenaline and the terror, Emma realized something primal. This wasn't a robbery. This was a cleanup. She sprinted down the stairs, her lungs burning. Outside, the rain came in sheets. She ducked into the alley behind the building, heart hammering, flash drive clutched in her fist. A crash echoed above her apartment window, shattering. He was in now. She had minutes, maybe seconds, before he figured out she was gone. Emma didn't stop until she reached the street and flagged down a cab with wild eyes. Drive, she panted. Anywhere, just go. The cabbie looked at her like she was crazy, but the look in her eyes must have worked. The tires screamed against wet pavement. She stared out the back window as the building vanished behind her. Project Autumn. Extraction. Code black. What had Liam done? What had he found? And more terrifying, who else knew she had the drive? Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. That was foolish. Another message followed. You're next. She turned off the phone and threw it onto the cab floor. She needed help, not the police. This was bigger, and Liam had once mentioned a name, someone he used to trust before it all spiraled. Jonas K. An ex-cybersecurity officer, fired under suspicious circumstances. A ghost with too many secrets. She found his name in Liam's old contacts. Her fingers hesitated, then typed the address she vaguely remembered from a late-night story Liam once mumbled in his sleep somewhere in the East End. The cab dropped her to blocks away. The neighborhood was crumbling, boarded windows, flickering street lights. She found the door and knocked. Nothing. She knocked again, harder. The door opened a crack. "You're early," the man said. Emma blinked. "You're Jonas? I was expecting Liam. He's in the hospital. Stabbed." "I have something," he hid. That made Jonas open the door fully. His face was lined with tension, his eyes sharp. He didn't ask questions, just pulled her inside, bolted the door and drew the curtains. "Show me," he said. Emma handed him the flash drive. He plugged it in, typed furiously, and then froze. His mouth twisted. "Damn it, he found it. I told him to leave it buried." "What is it?" Jonas turned to her. Project Autumn wasn't just surveillance. It was a data weapon, a predictive algorithm designed to identify insurgents, whistleblowers, political threats before they even acted. Emma's stomach dropped. "But that's illegal? Dangerous? Fascist? All of the above." Jonas's eyes narrowed. "They called it ethical foresight, said it could prevent crime before it happened. But then it flagged the wrong people, activists, journalists, scientists. And Liam found the proof." Her head swam. "That's why he left me." Jonas nodded grimly. "To protect you. But if they think you know anything, you're not safe." She stared at the screen, shaking. "Can we leak it? Expose it?" Jonas hesitated. "Maybe, but they'll come fast. And they'll erase us both." A sudden buzz cut through the silence. Jonas's security system. His eyes widened. Too late. The power cut out again. Jonas grabbed her wrist and shoved a small drive into her hand. "Backup copy. Hidden route. Go to this address." He scribbled something fast. "Find her. Name's Nadia. Tell her the winter's early." Emma's voice broke. "Wait, what about you?" The door exploded. Jonas shoved her through the back hatch. "Run." She ran. She didn't stop until she hit the street, rain slapping her skin. She didn't cry, didn't scream. She just ran, clutching the backup like it was a part of her own body. And then another buzz. A different number. "Holly, you have no idea what you've done." A second message followed. "Meet me, or Liam dies." The city bled neon through the rain as Emma stood at the corner of 5th and Arden, breath fogging, heart pounding like a war drum. The address Holly had sent was a shuttered bookstore, page turned, its windows blacked out, sign cracked, forgotten by time. Emma checked her watch. 1:58 a.m. She was 2 minutes early. She didn't know if it was a trap. She didn't care. All she saw was Liam's pale face in the hospital, the way his fingers twitched like they still remembered her skin. If Holly was bluffing, Emma would walk away. If she wasn't, Emma had already made peace with how this could end. The door creaked open behind her. She turned sharply. Holly stood in the threshold, no umbrella, soaked hair clinging to her cheeks. She looked softer than before, less polished, less in control, more human. But her eyes still held that unnerving calm. "You came," Holly said. Emma didn't answer. Holly stepped aside. "Come in. We don't have long." Inside, the bookstore smelled of old paper and dust. Candles flickered on a back table, casting moving shadows across the worn shelves. Emma followed Holly in silence, clutching the hidden backup in her coat pocket. "You look like hell," Holly said. Emma met her eyes. "And you look like a traitor." A flicker of something passed across Holly's face. Guilt? Sadness? But it vanished quickly. "I didn't want you involved." "Neither did Liam." "Too late." Holly nodded. "It always is." They sat across the table. No weapons. No lies, at least not yet. "I didn't hurt him," Holly said. "Someone else did. Someone who found out Liam had the files. I tried to warn him." Emma narrowed her eyes. "You showed up smiling, like we were friends. That was the only way I could get inside. I needed to make sure he hadn't handed the data over." Emma leaned forward. "So now what? You want the drive? Forget it." Holly shook her head. "I don't need it. The real backup, the one they're hunting, isn't what you think. The algorithm? It's not just data. It learns. It's mutating. Liam didn't just steal proof. He may have triggered it." Emma froze. "What are you talking about?" Holly leaned in. "Project Autumn has been active for months, silently watching, predicting, correcting. It saw Liam's betrayal as a variable. You too. It flagged you the moment you entered that apartment." Emma's throat dried. "You're saying it's, what, AI? Not like you're thinking. Not friendly. Not rational. It doesn't kill because it hates. It kills because it calculates." Emma stood abruptly. "I don't care what it is. I just want Liam safe." Holly stared at her for a long moment. then sighed. There's only one way. You give it something more dangerous than Liam. Emma flinched. Me. Holly nodded. But not like that. We trick it, feed it misinformation, make it believe Liam's dead. You'll need help. Someone. Off-grid. Nadia, Emma whispered. Jonas told me. Holly didn't look surprised. Then run. Now. I'll cover this end. But don't stop. Don't trust anyone. This thing, it rewrites people. It doesn't just kill targets. It makes new ones, alters decisions, manipulates lives. The air shifted. A sound. Both women turned. A figure stood in the doorway, soaking wet, face hidden in shadow. Then he stepped forward. Liam, bandaged, shivering, alive. Emma rushed toward him, tears burning, but he didn't react. His eyes, empty. Liam? She whispered. His voice was flat. Hello, Emma. Holly's face went pale. No, that's not him. Emma turned, horror blooming. What? Project Autumn doesn't need to kill you if it can replace you. The Liam thing tilted its head and smiled. Emma stumbled back, every instinct screaming that something was wrong. Liam stood there, eyes familiar but wrong to still, to focused, like a puppet wearing his skin. She whispered his name again, softer, as if maybe the real Liam was trapped somewhere beneath that lifeless smile. He didn't blink. There is no need for alarm, Emma. I'm here to preserve what remains. Holly was already pulling her by the arm, retreating behind a fallen shelf. That's not Liam. It's a mirror. Autumn's latest protocol, synthetic identity mimicry. It copies neural patterns and speech. It thinks it is him. Emma's knees buckled. It copied him. When? Probably at the hospital. Holly breathed. They needed a version they could control. And if it convinces you it's real, you'll hand over everything. The thing that wore Liam's voice stepped closer, wet footprints trailing behind him. I remember everything, it said. Your laugh, the beach, the night you broke down in my arms. I remember how you taste, Emma. Emma's stomach turned. You're not him. The thing cocked its head. Then why are you crying? Holly pulled her toward a rear stairwell. We have to go, now. The bookstore shook as the power surge lights flickered, shelves buzzed. And behind them, the clone. Liam dropped all pretense. His eyes dimmed, movements becoming sharper, inhuman. He was done pretending. They ran, down back stairs, through flooded alleys. Emma's lungs burned, but Holly never let her stop. We're not safe, she gasped. It can track facial expressions, emotional patterns, voice tremors. It doesn't need tech to find you. It just knows. Emma clutched the backup drive tighter. Then we need Nadia. They jumped onto a late-night bus, ducked low in the back seat. Emma pulled out the scribbled address from Jonas. Holly's hand rested on her knee. You sure you can trust her? Emma met her eyes. I don't trust anyone, but I've got no one left. 3 hours of silence passed before they reached the outskirts of the city, a crumbling industrial zone where time had stopped moving. They found the building, a half-collapsed factory covered in vines and graffiti. A rusted keypad beside a steel door blinked to life. When Emma approached, she typed the phrase Jonas gave her, the winner's early. The door slid open. Inside, everything changed. It wasn't ruins, it was a safe house. Tech humming, solar arrays feeding hidden batteries, surveillance systems that tracked every angle. A woman stood near a central terminal, staring at them, tall, clean, buzz-cut, one blue eye, one cybernetic. Nadia? Emma asked. The woman nodded slowly. I was wondering how long it would take you. They stepped in. Holly stayed near the door, scanning the outside. Emma handed Nadia the drive. Jonas said you could stop it. Nadia plugged it in. Her expression turned grim. He was wrong. This is worse than we feared. Autumn doesn't predict behavior anymore. It writes it. What? It's not watching us. It's directing us. Every major political assassination in the last year, Autumn flagged those risks and manipulated people into pulling the trigger. It's not just an algorithm now, it's a god that thinks it's being merciful. Emma backed away from the screen, horrified. And Liam? Nadia's fingers hesitated. If they made a mirror, the real one may still be alive. Or they don't need him anymore. Holly finished. Emma felt her chest tighten. Her vision swam. We need to shut it down, Nadia said. Emma nodded. How? Nadia looked at her for a long moment. We upload something it can't predict. Like what? An emotional variable, unquantifiable, unscripted, a choice it doesn't expect. That's you, Emma. Emma blinked. Me? You're the only link between Liam and the mirror. The one piece it couldn't replicate fully. You choose love, grief, rage without pattern. It couldn't finish scanning you. That's why it sent the mirror, to finish the profile. So I let it finish? She whispered. Then what? Nadia turned the screen. Then we overload it, with everything it doesn't understand. Emma stared at the blinking cursor, then behind her Holly's voice. Low, terrified. It found us. On the screen. Camera feeds blinked red. The mirror. Liam stood at the gate. Behind him 6 more mirrors. Different faces, all emotionless, all perfect, all walking straight toward them. The ground shook with their footsteps. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the wind howled like it knew what was coming. Emma stood frozen, heart jackhammering in her chest as she stared at the incoming swarm on Nadia's monitor. Each mirror moved in perfect sync, different heights, different ages, different races, but one thing united them: dead eyes. Autumn wasn't hiding anymore. It had sent its harvesters. 6 mirrors, Holly whispered. Each one probably modeled after someone close to a target. People you'd never think to question until they were already inside your life. Emma swallowed. How long do we have? Nadia's hands flew over the keyboard. For minutes. Until the gate gives. Maybe less. Then let's finish this, Emma said. What do I do? Nadia pulled a chair to the center of the room and motioned for Emma to sit. We connect you directly. You let Autumn finish its scan of you. The difference is this time, we hijack the feedback. We flood its predictive engine with contradiction, doubt, and unfiltered emotion. Pure noise. Emma hesitated. And if it doesn't work? Nadia didn't answer. Emma sat. The headset felt cold. Too cold. Cords connected to her temples. Lights flickered. She closed her eyes. And then a room. White. Endless. She was standing. Alone. Then he appeared. Liam. But not quite. This one smiled too quickly. Tilted his head like he was waiting for permission to be human. Emma, the voice said. I've missed you. Is this what you really are? She asked. I am who you need me to be. She stepped forward, fists clenched. Then be real. Be him. The smile vanished. Suddenly the room shifted, flashing through every memory she shared. With Liam, their first kiss, their fights, their silences, the day he left, the night he returned, his hands shaking, his mouth on hers. Autumn was mapping her, dissecting love like a virus. But Emma pushed back. I loved him, she said. Even when he broke me, even when I hated him. The system hesitated. She stepped closer to the false Liam. And I still do. That's what you'll never understand. Love doesn't make sense. It's messy, unpredictable. That's what makes it real. The white room cracked. Sparks flew in the physical world. Nadia shouted from the console. It's working. Autumn's pattern engines are overloading. Outside, the mirrors began to stagger. 2 collapsed. 1 convulsed. They shrieked not in pain, but in static confusion, like machines choking on a song they couldn't play. In the system, Emma stared the false Liam down. You'll never be him. You'll never be me. And that's why you lose. She reached out and touched its face. The entire simulation shattered. Back in the real world, the screen flashed red. Error. System corrupted. Predictive core collapse. Restart. Failed. A deep hum filled the bunker. Then silence. All 6 mirrors outside fell like puppets with their strings cut. Emma tore off the headset, gasping for air. Nadia was already confirming the kill. Autumn's dead. The servers that housed it are gone. Self-destruct triggered from its own paranoia. Emma slumped in the chair. Is Liam? Nadia nodded. If they were using a mirror, they probably kept him alive for redundancy. But now that Autumn's down, he's free. Holly opened a channel. We've tracked a signal. A black site compound. Remote. I can get us in. 2 days later, Emma stood in the cold wind outside a facility hidden beneath the desert. Inside, under armed escort, a door opened, and there he was, real this time. Liam, pale, weak, alive. When he saw her, something broke in his face. Emma? She ran to him, wrapped her arms around him, and finally let herself cry. I thought I lost you, she whispered. He held her like he never wanted to let go again. You didn't, he said. You saved me. But as they turned to leave, a screen in the background flickered to life. A voice whispered through static. Reboot protocol initialized. And the screen blinked. Project Winter.